Hey everybody, Kristin Levanway here with Thompson's Realty. You know what I want to talk about today? Real estate investing. You know what? It's not rocket science. And I used to be a rocket scientist, so I know what I'm talking about. It really comes down to just three simple things. Three things, that's it. Planning, numbers, leverage. Piece of cake. First of all, you got to have a plan. I mean, really, you got to sit down and make a strategy. Are you looking long-term or short-term? Long-term, typically, you're going to buy and hold. You're going to buy a house, rent it out. You may sell it down the line, or you might just keep it as a cash flow machine. Or if you're looking for short-term returns, you're going to buy something and you're going to resell it right away. Most likely, you're going to do some renovations, add some value in with some sweat equity, and resell it. So that's it. Which do you want to do? Long-term or short-term? Okay, numbers, easy. If you're looking to do a flip, you need a 25 to 30% margin. If in the end you're going to sell the house for $200,000, you need to buy it for somewhere in the neighborhood of $140,000 to $150,000. What? Why so much? Well, you've got to build in all the costs associated with the flip. That's about 8% for the cost of the sale on both ends, the buy and the sell. About, say, 1% a month for holding costs. That covers insurance, HOA, taxes, utilities, all that stuff, all those checks you're going to write while you're working on the house. And then another, say, % a month to service the loan if you're borrowing the funds to do this. And then, of course, you want to build in your profit. You're probably looking to make 8 to 10%. And don't forget the actual cost of the repairs. Probably somewhere between 5 and 10% of the final price. Add it all up and you're looking at 25 to 30%. So you got to find a house that gives you that kind of spread. What about rental properties? Well, the name of the game in rental properties is cash flow. In other words, the amount of money coming in, subtract out the amount of money going out, that better be a positive number, because a negative cash flow is not a good investment. So here's a quick rule of thumb for you to help you figure out how much you should spend versus how much you can rent a property for in that particular neighborhood. Anything $0 to $50,000, you're probably going to need to charge 2 to 3% of the purchase price as rent each month. So if you're buying a property for $25,000, you better be able to get $500 a month in rents. If you're buying a house for $35,000, look for a $700 a month rent that makes sense in that area. If you can't see those numbers, it's probably not a good buy. For purchase prices above $50,000, you're going to need to get rents that are somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.25% to 1.5% of the purchase price. So in other words, if you're buying a house for $100,000, you're probably going to need to look at rents about $1,250 for it to make sense number-wise. All right, step 3 is leverage, or as Jack Sparrow says, leverage. Well, that's borrowing money to make your dreams happen. If you have $100,000 in the bank, you can go out and buy a $100,000 house if you pay cash. Or you may look at financing that'll allow you to put $30,000 down on $300,000 properties and allow you to leverage that cash. You got to factor in the cost of the servicing of the loans, but a lot of times you get a better return if you can leverage your funds. So just remember those 3 steps. Are you looking at a long-term or a short-term strategy? What do the numbers tell you? And is there a way you can leverage your cash? And even though investing in real estate is simple, don't kid yourself, it's not easy. So you want to make sure you surround yourself with good people. Get a real estate agent to help you out. Even investors who are real estate agents use realtors to help them scout out these properties. Get an attorney to make sure you're covered liability-wise. Work with a tax accountant to make sure you're paying your fair share and not a penny more. If you'd like some help putting together a plan, just shoot me an email, send me a text message, or give me a phone call. Be happy to help you put a plan together. Turn you into a real estate investor. Be fun.